We're in today with the Sony notebook from 2005. This notebook comes with Intel 915GM GPU with 8 megabytes of DDR2. It's got 200 megahertz on the core clock. The memory clock is from the main system RAM that is shared from this computer to the GPU. It's got 64 bits bus width, DirectX 9, and on the CPU side, I got an Intel Pentium M with this notebook running at 1.2 with one core and one thread. In 2005, it had an average of 1,700 pounds, where the salary in UK was like a 22,000 pounds per year. And I was like, okay, this is for UK. It's almost possible to actually buy a notebook like this. But if you were looking in East European countries, it would be like, yeah, you have to take your life saving in order to buy a laptop like this. So the price for this notebook, even though it was meant to be efficient, it was kind of high for the specs this notebook had. But the problem is today that I wanted to show you is that if you want to go into the BIOS, you can actually see that the Phoenix BIOS got barely anything that you can change inside. It's like the BIOS is very limited. It doesn't have any options there to change. The most important thing that I want to say is that the memory itself is 2 gig now, but the original memory that is with the laptop, when it shows on the specs on the website or when you Google the specs of this laptop, shows that it's got 500 megabytes of system RAM soldered to the main board, and it came with another stick of 500 megabytes detachable. They said you can upgrade that 500 to 1 gig, and the system memory became 1.5 gig on this notebook. But the thing is, I had problems with it, and when I tried to install some games, I tried to test it because this is 915GM and it's got DirectX 9. That means it's got Direct 3D compatibility, so you can run the video card with some games with Direct 3D. Even though it's got 8 megabytes of VRAM, if I go into the graphics, you can actually see it's got 128 megabytes shared from the system. So it's taking the system RAM, and hence why it doesn't show here the frequency on the memory, because it's associated from the main system RAM. Here it's got two of them. I think one is for VGA output and one is for the computer itself. I had problems with Direct 3D. It was keep crashing. It gives me error, but now I realize why it was like that. 2 gig of system RAM DDR2. I tested with 500. It shows 500 soldered, 500 detachable. I put 1 gig, same thing. 1.5 it showed me here, but it was 500 from the system and 1 gig detachable. Now that I managed to put this 2 gig stick, it disabled that 500 megabytes that is non-detachable, is soldered on the board. Why is it important? Because I think that memory is broken, because it gave me an error whenever I started games that required Direct 3D. Or funny thing is that I had 500 megabytes of system RAM allocated for the operating system, 128 megabytes of system RAM associated to the VRAM, and the rest 200, 300 it was for the game. And every time I enter a game and I selected Direct 3D, it gave me error, shutting down, artifacting. It was like, what the heck is going on? You know, and I realized it actually doesn't have it doesn't have system RAM, or the system RAM that is soldered to the main board is broken, and whenever it wants to read it or use it, it's gonna crash, and it was showing me artifact. It was not playable any game. So I selected a lot of games that were working with software render. You know that, okay, I wanted to restore this computer. Because it took me like, I moved 3 houses and I was keep dragging this notebook with me, because back in the days it was very expensive, and I was like, one day I'm gonna restore this notebook and I'm gonna use it, and very grateful that I can have now the opportunity to actually show you how it's performing this. A very interesting thing that happened here with that system RAM, because apparently that was the problem. In SPD here, you can actually see, you can select the slot on the memory on the system. Yes, so it shows me that I have one stick of 2 gig on 400 megahertz from Micron. If I click on the slot 2, because that's the soldered memory on the computer, it's disabled. I never knew this. Seriously. I went on the website and I was like, oh, only 1.5 is recognized. So the moment I put in, by mistake, I put 2 gig inside. I want to see what's happening. And it powered on and I was so happy. I don't know if it is possible to find a 4 gig model, but Windows XP will only see it to 3.5 maybe. And you know, but it will be interesting because the rest of the memory, it will associate it to the VRAM memory or something. I don't know. It will be fun to have a 4 gig stick memory of DDR2. Before we start, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see more content like this, just subscribe to the channel. So the best thing I can do, jump in a couple of games and show you how this notebook is holding. Let's go. This is it. This is the moment I wanted for a very long time. I got 800 by 600 with lowest quality, and that's it. You know, even in the control panel from Intel, it's got a control panel. I actually forgot to show you. I disabled everything there. Shadow, anisotropic, filter, anti-alias, everything is disabled. Funny thing is, guys, you can enable them and you can put higher quality, but you have to find the right games in order to do that, you know. So I got DirectX 9. That means is DirectX 9. So the fact that I'm here in this game and it's over 10 seconds, that means it's working, because every single time I was entering here in this game, it crashed after a couple of seconds, artifacting on the screen and everything. So seeing this and it's still running, I'm achieved. That's it. You know, I was carrying the laptop for 10 years, you understand? From one day out, I got it broken, you know, because somebody said, yeah, it's not working because everything you put inside, it's from the memory. They put memory test, and I'm like, yeah, I know it's soldered to the board and nobody knows how to fix it. The fact that you can put a 2 gig stick inside and disable the one that's on board, maybe that is the problem, you know? So here is the catch. I had 500 megabytes of onboard memory, 500 separated, and the system RAM is using 800 megabytes for the game, 128 for the VRAM. Even though it only utilizes 41, it's allocating that memory, but it's using 41 because we already seen that. You got half a gig for the operating system, or how much is putting, maybe you have some patch file or something, but 1 gig of system RAM. I had problems with this laptop. It's one of those situations which, yeah, it doesn't matter, you know, that if it's working with 30-40 FPS, it's working. That's the most important thing, it's working. I got 24 watts consumption. This is the only thing that is put. You know, you can go buy a brick battery, you know, a foldable solar panel, and you can actually power this thing off. Seriously, you can go camping somewhere because you know you got a 50-watt solar panel that can generate a little electricity and you can play on this. Far cry with this. So I carried this dream with me for so long, and seeing it running like this is just magnificent. This is not okay, you know, the DirectX version from this Intel 915 GM is not okay because it's got a lot of bugs I'm gonna show you, and but it's working, you know. I got horrible MS 4050, very volatile. Maybe you can actually find other games that are working better, but to see this working like this, it's not bad. It's actually, there is a chance for me to actually use this. So this is the downfall of this. It's very buggy. Look at this. So I got 10-15 FPS. Yeah, it's not okay, but yeah, I can do nothing. I think maybe the drivers is influencing this. I tested multiple drivers with Intel. I found old one, new one, and yeah, it's not okay. Maybe with a different driver it's gonna work better, but it's an achievement. This, seriously, for me morally, it's an achievement that they didn't stop. This game didn't crash, the computer still on. I'm like, yeah, this is good. That's it. Because if I start the game before, I had high chances it became white and artifacting and it crashed. So seeing this, I would say, you know what, thank you. This is already one in this situation. I got 29 FPS. This is not okay. So I put 1024 because I thought it shows me the resolution. Actually, I have to go on the lowest resolution with the lowest performance in order to get the right FPS. So I'm in the menu. I want to see how much system RAM because I didn't pay attention. I got 500 megabytes of system RAM and 26 on the VRAM side. 29 FPS is not okay. So yeah, let's go on the lowest resolution. There was 1024 640. This is 512 or something that is even lower than 640, but hopefully it's gonna hold. 59 there on the FPS. Ooh, maybe it's gonna work. I wanna click enter and I want I don't want to be disappointed on playing the game, seriously. All right, let's go. Oh no, it's not working. Yeah, it managed to freeze it. Okay, so yeah, almost there. I was almost there. 29 FPS. Maybe some drivers modification, who knows, but yeah. All right, let's see if Age of Empires is working. This is gonna be very interesting. 20-30 FPS. This is 800 by 600 with lowest quality, and I think there is a small chance I can actually play the game. All right, this is good. So let me walk around, see what we got here. Hundreds of FPS. Yes, 20 FPS. No, I got literally nothing here. All right, so this is great. I got a limit of games that I can play on this. I'm very happy every single time I look at this. I'm like, at 25 watts consumption, 25 FPS. It's like watt per FPS. It would be ideal. Seriously, you want 200 FPS, 200 watts consumption. Seriously, it would have been a great trade-off, you know, 60 watts, 60 FPS, but I don't think it's the same like that. All right, 25 FPS. I got 29 megabytes of VRAM allocated here to run, 800 megabytes of system RAM. This is important because I only had 1000 megabytes available and it was crashing. This was not working. You understand? It managed to start the game. I wanted to do a video about complaining about the Sony VAIO, but for some reason I put it off in the last second. I put a 2 gig stick and it's working. Seriously, back in the days this laptop was not meant for this. Seriously, I think it was meant for working and stuff, but seeing it running here, I think this is the most majestic thing. 2005 with Sony had problems and anti-consumer rights against them. What you put on this is not yours, the software. No, it's Sony's one. Only problems, look. Nevertheless, I got a good run of it. I don't know, I put MX6 thermal paste on that CPU, you know, and the chipset, and I was like, okay, it's gonna need it because it's good. I don't know, maybe the... Oh damn, blue screen. One thing I can count is always on Quake. Works on any potato, GPU, graphics, doesn't matter. I got custom, I don't even know what's this, high quality, normal, fast. Look at that. Let's use fast. Can we use fast? Even this one, texture, we can put it lower. Let me have my W with this Intel. Seriously, on lowest quality, 53 FPS. Yes, please, 60 FPS, 8 megabytes. Oh man, it does look potato, but it's working. So I'll take this because I don't have a lot of things here. Soul achieving to see a game running with a lot of FPS. I don't need any crashes from this. So in this situation, if it's doing the job with 30-50 FPS, I'll definitely call this a win. No. Calm down. I have an USB to Bluetooth cable conversion, and it's on Windows XP, and this one, it's working really slow. I don't think you can lower more on the quality side. I put it on the fastest one now as a preset, and yeah, it does the job. I got 588 megabytes of system RAM utilized here. Not a lot of VRAM. I got some hiccups here and there, but hopefully it's not from the computer itself, it's from the keyboard. I love this idea, this Intel GM it's offering here, because in the future I want to put more similar computers like this. You don't believe how many are like this. If you put older titles like this, older operating system like this, you can see that you can get some very interesting retro vibes from this. One game that I managed to start, and I have to praise it because it's holding apparently and it's still working and doesn't have any problems, is Fable. It's doing the job. Usually when I have all the hardware like this game usually takes it and runs with it, you know, but in this case I have it says 64. No fam. Look at it. 15 FPS, 10 FPS. So I can't do nothing here. Seriously, 91, 95 ms. In this case, it's not okay. I think I have to look at the sky. 15, 20 FPS. Yeah, 21 FPS. Not ideal for this. Maybe if I go behind the house, look at the side, you know, behind the house without any people. This is good because it shows you that 8 megabytes of VRAM that is got this Intel GM is not enough. Do I like this? No, I don't like the performance. It's very heavy on the hardware, but it's working. It's not crashing. So it's telling me there is a chance for me with this Sony notebook that if you find the right games that have the right optimization for the drivers for this Intel integrated graphics, you know, there is a standing chance. This is what I need for this. So Diablo works really nice. I got 25 FPS. Let me see, what settings do I have? Video settings. I got lightning quality, medium, high. Oh, look at that. I got interesting perspective here. Gamma, previous, 25 FPS. Oh, it's using. I was interested. Can I put it to 800 by 600 or something? But apparently it doesn't. 25 FPS is limiting. Very strange because it's 121 megabytes on the VRAM. I'm guessing because it's got 8 megabytes of VRAM itself and it's sharing it. It shows that it's taking from the sharing, maybe, you know, but still okay with the wattage under 30 watts. This laptop is not consuming a lot of wattage, and this is the only thing that matters. It's a good, efficient laptop. Now I understand how he managed to put 7 hours on this occasion. Maybe I can get lucky on actually getting a battery for this. It's going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting opportunity here. I got nearly 700 megabytes of system RAM utilized. CPU is at maximum. This is the performance I'm expecting. This is the type of game that I can put on the laptop like this. You don't have other options, you know. Maybe they are, but I have to just look at it and find the right opportunity to put it, you know, to test it. Many games can be put on this, but the idea will be to be with old operating system and all games. Can't go on without trying Half-Life with this Intel graphics, you know. It's got 60 FPS. So in this situation, I got playable FPS with that resolution. 800 by 600, it's okay. I think that if I want to play the game, I got options with this, even lower resolution, just in case. One thing that is important, that if everything goes to not to plan, you know, I got software render that can actually jump in and save me in this situation. I like this, seriously. I like what the video card is offering here, and I think this is the most important thing here. So if I'm interested on playing the game, I think I need to explore games that are similar with this if I want to play and benefit from the hardware that I have in this notebook. It does the job, you know. I got 582 megabytes of system RAM, 12 megabytes of VRAM allocated. Very funny that in Diablo it was using 121 megabytes of VRAM, and in Half-Life only 12 megabyte implication. And I think in the future I have to be in a different type of position. Like this is gonna be very interesting. Let's see if we're jumping in Need for Speed, how it's gonna hold. Need for Speed. Oh, I forgot it doesn't work. I was actually thinking that it's gonna work. I had seen in the menu MS Afterburner. Oh man, it's working with this. I was like, no, it doesn't work. I got maximum quality. I think this is software render, hence why I don't have MS Afterburner. I seen it in the menu. It should have been like in Diablo, but it doesn't work. I'll give a test here to see how it's running with this, because if I have games like this running with this and it's holding and it doesn't crash, then yeah, I can validate my piece of hardware. This beautiful ultra low notebook power consumption that created a lot of problems back in the days. Magnesium casing that was cracking and breaking hinges, and it was overpriced. All of a sudden I got a nice interest on them because they were a pain back in the days. But in the situation you can actually see it's holding okay in this old game. So playing with the old laptop, it feels very retro-ish. Seriously, it's like a time machine. So every single time I'm opening a laptop like this, putting a game like this in the machine and starting it, feels like back in the days. So that's the only thing I can say about this. I'll take this opportunity and I can go back in time just a fraction. Can't say nothing bad about it because it does the job. So this was not designed with Director Day. I'm guessing back in in 2005. This laptop was made for workstation, 7 hours. It was like, oh damn, this is very ultra low notebook that can hold pretty well. Doesn't have a lot of kilograms, you know. It's a very lightweight notebook. If I had something like this back in the days, I wouldn't know what to do with it. Today you have tablets, you have Microsoft Surface, Ultra tablets, portable, convertible, transformer, you know. Then you can put it in a backpack. It feels very light, and you can do the work on many things like this, you know. Back in the days, this notebook was something similar. It was very high-end to have a powerful computer this size working so long, 7 hours. See, here it shows directory there. What happens if I put it to software render? Oh my god, that was directory there. This is software render. Okay. My confusion. I actually thought the quality is going to be totally different because I was expecting MS Afterburner to work, and I had that quality that is with Voodoo or some specific video card that has directly there. I think with older video cards it's going to be totally different. I want to see this game running with some appropriate age-related video card to see how it's performing on directory there. There is a different type of quality when you have directory there. I thought that was it, not this squarey shadows and stuff. No, director there was actually good there. Actually, I stayed with that one because it did a fantastic job. Very surprised that it managed to work this Sony notebook. Seriously, I'm very surprised that I managed to achieve this type of performance with it, because before it was crashing all the time. I wanted to do more games. Actually, with this opportunity, it shows me that Directory Day or OGL can actually do the job, you know, and I will look into other games to actually try to put on this machine, because now I know that it's working. I'm actually interested on getting a battery for it, you know. This notebook running with less than 30 watts is very fascinating for me, and seeing it maybe in the future running so many hours, I will say yes please. It's very, very adequate for retro gaming, this machine. But retro gaming, like the really retro gaming, if you don't want to be bottlenecked by the CPU, this 1.2 gig Pentium M version, I like it. Seriously, I like it because it was very small. It was a pain back in the day to fix stuff like this, because you didn't have parts, and when you had parts it was very expensive, and now they are cheap and now they are worth it. Even the hard drive itself, it's an ATA 1.8, not even 2.5 like normal laptops, you know, that was back in the days. No, this was 1.8, and it's, you have to take the chassis off, you understand? You have to open the hinge, you have to take the cover from the top, then take the keyboard, and then you have access on the hard drive. Not funny, seriously, not a funny thing, seriously. But with this, the only thing that I appreciate is this, that I managed to see this memory running, this 2 gig without that onboard memory, and it managed to work, and I appreciate it. Very, very adequate idea that this laptop managed to offer me, because it shows me that an Intel graphics like this with some older titles can do the job. And maybe, and I don't know how to express, but the internet is full with laptop like this with next to nothing. You understand? You can buy it, restore it, get some cheap hardware that you can put, you can power it up, and you can make it work, and it can be your retro heaven if you don't want to build a machine with big video cards and computers. If you go somewhere, just take your old offline laptop with old games, and you can have a lot of fun. That's how I feel, you know, to get an old laptop, have some old games, and have some fun when I have some spared free time. This is the whole idea of this computer, this laptop, this notebook. Actually, it's not a laptop because it's a notebook, ultra notebook. Appreciate it. I hate it. I'm happy that I managed to see it working, you know. It was very challenging from every aspect. I want to do more videos with this notebook, with other games, and now that I know it's working, I will definitely look into it. Seriously, it's a fantastic idea. So if you have any ideas for this notebook or for this Intel graphics, whatever, leave a comment, make sure you smash that like button, and as usual, I will see you very soon.